Welcome, everybody, to the Azure and AI Show. I am filling in for Frank Falvey. Frank is traveling this week or weekend, and this is a weekly show that Frank moved from, I believe, Fridays to Saturdays about maybe 6 months to a year ago. And I'm joined by three folks from around the world here. And we have two speakers today. Both Nisakan, hello.
Hi, thank you.
And you are in Texas, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent.
Thank you.
And Peter is joining us as well. Peter's from New York area. Greater New York, right?
That is correct. Good to be on the show.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And IB is joining us from Nigeria. So we've got worldwide representation. And Peter, like you said, sometimes where we live isn't necessarily where we're from or where our accent, is from. So we have some of that as well. My family was originally from Spain, so I have some Hispanic roots or heritage. And, that's the other thing. When we talk about worldwide, it's not necessarily just where we're living or working, but sometimes, what makes up that heritage or that lineage, if you will. Good. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Nisakan as our first presenter today. If you want to share your screen, I can bring that up to the stage here.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Let me bring my screen up. Okay, so do let me know. All right.
There we go.
Thank you. So today we are trying to see how we can solve a problem. In companies, we have, organizations where people want to take leave and they have to do a lot of paperwork. They have to write a letter, send an email, and wait for confirmation. And sometimes it can be very tedious. And so we're looking at how we can simplify that using three technologies. And first of all, my name is Nisakan. I'm an IT consultant. I do a lot of things in the IT world. I'm an M365 administrator, but sometimes it's so difficult to put one title. So I just prefer using IT consultant, stroke educator. And we'll just show you a couple of the design and workflow. So we have three technologies, the Microsoft Forms, and then we also have the SharePoint for storage and data management. And then lastly, we incorporate Power Automate for our approval processes. So we have the user-friendly interface, Microsoft Forms, that I'm going to build from scratch, and which will be the one for the end user, where they will fill out their details depending on their type of leave, annual leave, promotion leave, maternity leave. The particular leave that is not common, I don't know if you get it a lot, paternity leave, but we know of maternity leave and annual leave, but I don't know if any of you get paternity leave. So they will have to fill out this form, and the questions are customized and very brief. Once they do that, SharePoint on the other end will be able to have this data stored up, updated when there's a change. So when there's an approval, SharePoint will update that there's an approval. And then lastly, we're going to use Power Automate to streamline these approval processes. So I'm going to jump right into the demo, if you don't mind. I'm going to bring up my screen here. All right, so here we are. This was the one I built earlier on, but I'm going to just start from scratch, from top. Okay. I'm going to quickly share my screen again. Yeah. I know my screen was up. I'm going to bring it back.
No problem.
Yeah. I'm sure it's back now.
Yep.
All right. So this was the previous one I did test it, and I'm just going to start all over for someone that is trying to follow up. So we'll go to new form. So just call this, let's just call it leave. That's too tiny. Let me increase my, is it better now?
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So we'll just call it leave request. Leave request form. Some company prefers to abbreviate things. Just in case I have it already created, so I'm just going to make this A, just in case I already have it somewhere. Kindly fill out the form for your leave request. So more like an instruction for whoever is going to fill this form. So I think the first thing will be the employee's name, depending on your company's naming convention. Some will prefer to use staff name. Let's just call it employee name. Well, I don't think anyone's name can be very long, but let's make it required field. The next one should be an email text. But to make it very easy for the person, let's still streamline it to employee email. All right. The next one will be, so we have the name. How about department? So we're going to make that one. Maybe we have a couple of departments. Let's make it a choice question. Department. Oh, here we go. Department. We have the popular HR. We can leave them out. Let's see how we can have accounting. Accounting. Let's add a couple more options. Maybe let's say engineering / IT. If that is okay, I think IT guys are saying no, separate us. Can't add us with engineering. So let's make IT different. Okay, so we have these 4. It depends on your company's structure. You can have more. All right, so after that, what do we think we need again? Employee's name, email, department. So what do they need? So let's just say type of leave, type of, or leave type, depending on, I think I would like to make it type of leave to make it very easy. Type of leave. We have the popular one, just call them I'm sick. The other one is promotional leave. Yeah. I'll just call it promotion. Let's leave it promotion. What else? Maternity. Okay, I think it feels like they should all have leave. Let's give them leave. And then we have the non-common one. It's not so common, but I'm just gonna assume that some companies honor this.
I know our company.
Maybe the last one could just be annual leave. Let's give annual leave. Yeah, all of this depends on your company's preferences. So we have annual leave. So type of leave, maybe the company wants to know if you can give some details. Let's say reason for leave. All right. Yeah, so we're going to make this long just in case someone has a lot of things to say. So far we have employee's name, employee email, the department, type of leave, the reason for leave. What else? There should be the status. Status. Just leave it as status. All right. So we just call this pending. So once the employee fill this up, the rest of the options for the status pending, and we have reject and approve, right? Those ones will come up as an update on the SharePoint list. All right, so just leave it as status pending. I think with this, we're good. So we have 6 fields for the form.
You need date, right?
Or date. Thank you. I almost forgot that. Start date and end date. When do you want to start? Yeah, thank you. Start date. Let it be required. We also have end date. When do you want your leave to end? Oh, thank you so much, Dan. So start date and end date, of course, you required. Okay, we're good. So so this is the first thing you do. And then we just want to make these settings such that while you are there, we can all try this out, all right, and see how this works from our end. So I'm just going to make it anyone can respond. I think that's good. So let's head over to, just to make sure I don't mix things up, I'm just going to close a couple of, I'm going to close this. All right, I will close this. So I just know I have the right tabs open. So I'm going to go to SharePoint. So just take note of my SharePoint site. I want to use this popular site that I use for my training. So I'm going to use this one. So I want to create a list. So we are done with Microsoft Forms. We're heading to the next technology tool we want to use. So this is SharePoint site. And I call this, just to keep things simple and kind of in uniform, I'm just going to copy this. But it's not mandatory. You may just want to use your company's approved naming convention. So I'll just call this similar name. So here we go. So sometimes this title is something you can't do without. So just keep it there. Let it be there. The first column we want to create. So we're going to make sure we create fields or columns that matches what we have on the Microsoft Forms so that they can both sync in correctly. But it doesn't mean that if you have a different name, there's going to be any issue. But just to help you match them when it's time to create your flows on Power Automate. So it's always better to use the similar names. All right. So we have the first one is employee's name. So quickly say, okay, name, text. We'll call it employee. Employee name. Can add description, name of employee, single line of text, and that is it for that one. The next one will be employee email. So sometimes, if you already have, maybe you can just choose the person field, but I just want to use some so that in case there's no one in my organization, like we have people on the call right now on the show. So I'm looking at my second screen just in case you're wondering where my eye is going to. So employee email. All right, so just make this simple. The next was departments. We have about 4 departments. So we'll make this choice, and then we ask what HR, accounting. I think I have accounting. Accounting. We have engineering. Then we have IT. I think those were so we just want to leave it at none, so they just make their choice. So type of leave, we have SP and PA. So type of leave, it's a choice. Oh, no. Yep. It's a choice, type of leave. So we have sick leave. Let me see how I did this. Okay. So we have sick leave. We have promotion. Excuse me, promotion leave. We have the annual leave, and then we have maternity leave. And lastly, the unconventional paternity leave. All right, I think we're good with this. Just keep it at none. The next thing was reason for leave. Just this, sometimes I can be lazy, so multiple lines of text is fine. Best is just say kindly give more details more reason for this leave. Yeah, that's okay. Multiple line of text. And then we have, what do we have next? Okay, the status. So let's go to the status for leave. So status is going to be a choice. Just call this status. I feel like it's not big enough. Is it better? Okay. Status, yeah. Make it status. We could just call this proof. Just simple. Reject. We don't like this one. Then we can leave it at pending. All right. So for we could just leave it at, what's this? Oh, pending. Enter. The choice. All right, so we'll leave it at this. So we'll keep it at pending at the default. All right. After that, we have start date and date. So date, do we have just dates? Okay, date and time. That's fine. Start date. Should we include time? No, but let's make it friendly. sometimes I usually prefer to put today's date so the person knows what we're talking about. And date. And date. Okay. Friendly. Here we go. So I think we are done with this. So just take note of some people use the link, but I have the details of my SharePoint site. So do not forget we had a Microsoft form created. We match the columns with our SharePoint list fields and columns. So now we head to the guy who's going to help us to run this process for us. And that's our Power Automate. If you were just coming in for the first time, you will have to authenticate, all right, to prove you are the owner of the tenant. So it was just okay, I mentioned that. So let's wait. I want to use a different environment. You can have a couple of stuffs in the previous environment. All right, here we are in this new environment. So just go ahead and do create. Some people prefer to just put everything in solution, but I just want to make it very, so you use automated cloud flow. We'll call this leaf flow. I just leave it at leaf flow. When response, so you can search for, but because that is one of the most common thing I use every time, so that's why it came up as the first stuff here. But you can just go ahead and search for when a response is submitted and make sure that the technology is Microsoft Forms. All right. So you click on Microsoft Forms when a response is submitted. What happens? So we're about to create a form of instruction. All right. So once you've done that, you click on it, go ahead and pick your form. So sometimes if you want to change if you can get a form from a different tenant, so you can go ahead and add the tenants and do your connection. So this is more like a connection, but I'm already signed in, so I'll leave it at that. Or just go ahead and look for the form. If you can recall the name of the form, how did we save it as? Okay, here we go. So we have leave request form LRF-A. All right, so we pick that up. So what next? We want to get a response ID. All right. Give me a second. I think my flow is crying for help. There's a lot of stuff. So let me just. Let me reduce this. Okay. I was going to wonder what's happening. So just go ahead and get a response. So once a form is filled, a response should be extracted. So get a response details for Microsoft Forms. Always ensure you are in the right technology per time, depending on what you want to do. So you will have it at the top here, Microsoft Forms, SharePoint, Office 365. So I'm looking for Microsoft Forms. I pick that and I'll be asked, what's the form? This is the form. What am I looking for? So we have the dynamic value. We also have the one you use, just a set expression by yourself. So I'll just go ahead and use dynamic. I'll just pick response ID. All right. I hope this is not too large. So after that, the next thing we want to do is create. So we've gotten the response from Microsoft. So the person fills the form, the employee fills out the form, and we extract this response. I want to dump this response in SharePoint as our storage site. So just click on create item, create item on SharePoint. All right, create item. You click on that, you'll be asked where. Recall our SharePoint site. That was the one that has proof of work. So this one, just for you to understand if you are in the right place, you search for the name of the list, SharePoint list. Okay, so here we are. And then you have the fields show up. Status value is pending. So let's show everything. Let's just see everything we have. Limit column by value. I don't need this. So for the title, I would like to have this title take the response ID. All right, so it doesn't just stay idle like that. Then for the employee name, we'll get the you insert your / I hope that's what it is. You now match your form. Hold on. Okay, employee name. So we have the employee email. Whatever the employee filled as their email, we pick that up. The department. We don't want to just give a department. We want to use the employee's choice. So use forward, use custom, insert, department. All right. Then type of leave, whatever the employee picked is what you will use. You will not impose the leave type for the employee. So you go ahead and pick type of leave. Reason, the same thing, / insert dynamic content. Reason for leave. The status, we leave that, all right, because we're going to update that during our. So for the start date, whatever if you can't find it, just type it start date. We have it here. End date. Sometimes you just have to search for it. End date. There we go. We can leave this for now. So we have these fields already here. So we just minimize this. The next step is for us to do what they call, so we have finished with Microsoft Forms, we've gotten the details. We have our database structure, which is the SharePoint. So what do we want to do? The approval process. So we'll bring in our start and wait action. Start and wait action. All right, so just type start and wait. Let's see what comes up. Start and wait for approval. Start and wait for an approval text. So we'll go with this, start and wait for an approval. All right. So the approval will be first to respond, right? First to respond. Whoever responds first. So let me explain this. You can have 5 managers, 3 managers, 2 managers. All right. If you put it on wait for all responses, if one manager responds, we have to wait for the other 2 to respond before it can go on. So let's just leave it as first to respond for sake of this training. The title, let's what do we call it? Let's call it leave request. Leave request. Leave request approval. Let's leave it at that. Now, who do we assign it to? Since I have someone already in my tenants, I'm going to use my name. I'm going to use this. I'm not sure exactly exact one, so I have to, just in case I don't have access to the other one. So the markdown details. Yeah, so we'll just say, so this is what will come to the person approving this, right? So what do you want the person to see? Let's just call it leave request. Leave request for your action. It all depends on what you want to do. Then we go ahead with the employee's details. The employee's name. I like to keep space. Employee's email. You can choose to leave the department. The department. You want to know the start date, very important. Or type of leave. It's basically almost everything, all the details you need to know. But if you choose not to have the space, that's fine. Reason for, and then let's just say the start. Where is it? Where is the start date? Let's start date. We can just leave it at that, and end date. Those are the important details the manager needs to know. Just say thank you for your consideration on this matter. All right, so we'll just leave it at that and we go. So the last thing about second to the last stop we're going to do is a condition. So if it's approved, what happens? If it's rejected, what happens? Right? I think I have a few time left, right?
We're about nuts.
Okay. Can I say continue?
Yeah. If you
okay.
Just 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. I'll just quickly. All right. So the condition we want to have is that will be under control. Yeah, we have condition. The value should be outcome. If the outcome is approved. So once the outcome is approved, what happens? We add this. Once the outcome is approved, we have to update the SharePoint. All right, if it's approved or rejected, recall we had that column where we had just pending, but we need to update that pending to something else. Update item under SharePoint. Awesome. So one more, we look for our SharePoint list, proof of work. The list is called this. If you want to put this ID, that's fine. Just want to put this. Okay. Sorry. All right, so I want to update this. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so after that, we want to notify the same thing with this, we'll update this too. If it's true or rejected, whatever happens, it will be updated. You do the same thing for update item. Good. Let's get our, so because there are 2 updates, so this will take update item 1. So pick our SharePoint list, our identifier, this. let me see. List item and this item to act on the list related, that list related actions. Okay. So we're good with this. So once that is done, the employee should get an email. So we'll go to notify the employee by sending an email. So we'll use send email version 2, V2 for that. All right, so who do we send the email to? Recall we had the employee email address, right? So we want to have it dynamic, whatever email address they put in there. So but we don't have any of that action. So you come to this settings button, close to the settings, you click on this, use dynamic content, and then /, then you get the employee email. All right. Then the subject, because it is under true, that's approve. So you can just call it approval or leave approval. So when they see that approval, they're excited. All right. The first subject line that you see is leave approval or leave approved. Let's leave it at leave approved. Make it exciting. So we say, hello, dynamic content, the employee's name. All right. Kindly be notified that your leave. So this is our last stage. So we'll soon be done. Leave request starting from. So we'll put the dynamic content, the dates, whatever date they choose. Start date to end date. So that can be dynamic, whatever they put there, but then end date. Can even identify that your leave request starting from the end has been approved. Do enjoy your leave. Best regards. You can just maybe use your name or you can use your email, depending. So just leave it at that. I told you I'm a lazy guy. I like to copy and paste a lot of times. So just copy that. Then what happens when it's rejected? I don't like this part. I like the first part. So I don't like
same thing, right? You just person.
Well, we'll just do the same
thing, right? You just person.
Yeah. So we'll send it. This is gonna be to dynamic content. Oh, sorry, we have to enable that from here. Dynamic content, employee email. What do we call it? Leave rejected. Rejected. So I'll kind of paste this. I'll remove this. I'll just say hello. Okay, hello. The dynamic content, which is the employee's name, kindly be notified that you leave starting from dynamic content. Start, whatever date they choose is what you will have to. Okay, end date has been rejected, or has not been approved. I think I like that has not been approved. Been approved. That's for that. You're leaving. See your manager for detailed explanation. All right, you don't want to put everything on the email. All right, so best regards. So we are done with this. Let's pray today. Microsoft Power Automate is having a good time. Has a good feelings. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen today, but let's just try out our. So we just click on save. So if everything is okay, it will save. So we have the parameter condition contains invalid expression, fix input parameter. Let me see that. So it's part of what I was talking about. Add an action that sends an email, explain what an action does an action. Measure means that the condition step in your phrase is in the formula about it that Power Automate doesn't understand. Okay, click on the condition step. Check the field, start and wait for an approval. Make sure you see the dynamic content. Okay, so let's see where that is. Equals to approve, yeah. Oh, here. First to respond, leave. Oh, let me remove this. I think this could be I'm not sure yet, but let me just try this. Let's see.
Maybe while you troubleshoot, Peter present. Would that work?
Yeah, what is it?
Would it be okay for you to present while you're troubleshooting it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's do that.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Yeah,
let us know if you get that working. Peter, would you like to share?
Sure. Dan, do you want to just, mine's a bit more than 15 minutes. Do you want to carry on with the Najin's topic and maybe we do another show together? Because I don't think I can really get a 35-minute talk into
Well, if you have 35 minutes, we can take another 35. The hour is not a.
Okay, we can do that.
Yeah. You're welcome to go, and then
that works.
Like I said, I don't have a hard stop. Sometimes Frank has like only an hour. Sometimes he has.
All right. Okay. No, sounds good. So let me get this thing sorted out.
Yeah.
Right. I am going to share my screen.
There we go. Let's bring it up.
This is my backdrop.
Nice. Have you been to Beastie Boys Square?
No, where's that? Is that in Brooklyn or something?
It's down in Manhattan, and it's right around the corner, kitty corner from a place that is in Italy and New York City, and it's called Trapezzino. So if you haven't been to Trapezzino, I highly recommend it. The only U.S. location. And then right around the corner is Beastie Boys Square.
All right. I should check that out. This is in New York City, is it?
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Okay. I will check this out. Okay, then, Dan, thank you for inviting me to the show as a guest. So I've done this topic as a few keynotes and conferences. So I try and make it conversational. As a keynote, I don't really go into the details more, but it's really about how to create moonshot solutions with AI. And with that said, so quick, the agenda is basically, what the session's about, talk about some terms, definition terms, a little bit trip down memory lane, data, people, and moonshot ideas. So basically, there's about 5 themes here. I talk about technology over the years, the impact, jobs, where AI all goes wrong, and basically AI and moonshot ideas. Okay, so if you imagine Seinfeld, Dan, were you ever a bit of a Seinfeld fan?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so basically with Seinfeld, there's usually about 4 or 5 themes which are totally separate, and it all came together in the end. Okay, I've done this presentation a few times, and trust me, it all comes together in the end. On that note, so welcome, thank you, Dan, for having me on the show. Just out of interest, does this go onto Spotify or YouTube? How does it get distributed?
Great question. So when you join with StreamYard, have you used StreamYard before?
I actually have a podcast which we've now started using StreamYard, but carry on.
There is, if you log in, you can choose up to 2 of your own socials or to go live too.
Right.
We are currently on Frank Falvey's YouTube, his LinkedIn, and then I think on this account I have connected his. Let me see third person. No, it's IB.
Okay,
profile.
Right. Okay. Sound good. Listen, yeah, because we do a podcast and it's all recorded. Okay, and then we cut out all the ums and the ers and the pauses. So and then we break it all up as well. Okay. So just out of interest, Dan, do you use Copilot? I know you're on MVP Copilot. So you're obviously using these every day and studio and trying to take break the thing as much as you can. In terms of your clients, what do you witness? Are people using Copilot? Is there much resistance?
Yeah, great question. So I have been a Microsoft partner. I worked for Microsoft. Now I'm at a large quick service restaurant chain in the U.S. And McDonald's is my employer, so we are using Copilot. And I won't get into all the details, specifics, but I have heard a lot of customers that have a hesitation to use AI. And then there's others that are,
And that's true with new technology. And I always sort of even with the Copilot paid version, the fact that it can summarize your minutes, your meetings in seconds, that to me is worth $30 a month anyway. Okay. But a lot of people don't realize it. And I'll talk about the resistance and about with new technologies, how people have adopted this in the past. And it's going to be the same with AI and agents as well. So good data, you need good AI to get those moonshot solutions. Okay. And data is everything. And data is basically the new oil in the economy. That's not being totally profound. Everybody's saying that. And AI without data is pointless, and data without AI is worthless. Okay. And that's just not me. There's a lot of articles. The Economist has got a great edition here where it really talks about data and the new rules about how it's becoming a very valuable resource. A little bit about me. I'm the founder of Soho Dragon, former CTO, now CEO, Microsoft MVP, co-authored 4 books on SharePoint and in Teams. I'm also co-organizer of SharePoint Saturday, New York. My first version of SharePoint was SharePoint Portal 2003. Those were the days. I live in the New York area. I'm a big fan of yoga and vegetarian cooking. Okay, so when you talk about moonshot, what do we talk about here? You talk about a big problem, you talk about a radical solution and a breakthrough technology. Okay, when you think about that moonshot, you think of this guy here, JFK in the 1960s. That was basically a moonshot idea. It was a boatload of money, a boatload of resources, how we're going to put a man on the moon. And of course, that's exactly what happened. But it was a bit of a distraction. It really did. It changed the course of NASA about what their objectives were. Okay. Other moonshot ideas are when vaccinations for COVID, and normally, where there's a pandemic or a war, and where you've got to put a lot of effort into something which you wouldn't normally do. That's where you get moonshot ideas. And we saw that with the COVID vaccinations as well. Things like DNA, game changers, when they discovered DNA, which was actually in the 1980s, basically, this totally revolutionized the way crime was actually done. Not crime was done. Policing was actually done, and actually the legal work where you could actually say people are innocent or even guilty, actually, and that was used in the course of law. Okay. When that was invented, the inventor would not have believed how far that would have gone. Same as 3D printing. That was developed in the early 80s. The fact that you could actually manufacture something there and then on your site without basically importing it in. Game changer. Think about IVF. 60 years ago, if I said to you, you can take, like embryos or a sperm and an egg from two different people and then basically create an embryo and give it to somebody else to have your baby, you would have said this is another Star Trek movie. That's what's happening in today's society. Okay, so that's those moonshot ideas, things which are very different. People have got a technology that they're not thinking, not necessarily thinking this is what it was intended for, but then it's people start using this very differently. Let's have a quick trip down memory lane, okay? We got the old personal computers in the 90s, with LAN networks and emails, and then the internet and email, cell phones, Blackberries, online shopping, smartphones, app music and videos, video conferencing, and then now we're in the agents and AI world. But these had some impacts with the workplace and the employee and society, which nobody really thought about. So you look about PCs, suddenly you could number crunch spreadsheets there and then. Okay, LAN networks, you could share information with other co-workers without printing it out. So, okay, and then new skills are required. PC literate, okay, keyboard skills. Okay, let's look at the impact of email. Okay, prior to email on the internet, you had to go to the office to actually get the information. It was either in filing cabinets or it was on cert premises in the server room. Okay, now that information is available, it means that you can work at home. And when people started work at home, they started saying things, well, I'm in my alternative office. Okay, and this is also the impacts of hiring employees. Now you can have remote workers. When I started work in the 90s in New York, okay, there was 3 reasons to move to a big city. Firstly, you could develop your career, you could earn great money, and you could spend that money. Okay, now with a remote worker, you don't need to be you don't need to live in a big city to develop your career. It's to spend that money. Now you can, if you want to buy Japanese comics, you don't need to be in the city to a comic store. If you want to watch like weird Korean movies, you don't need to move in the city. You can get that streaming, you can purchase that. So none of that is actually true now. So of course, cities are then going to have to reinvent themselves because the young, the talented, the energy doesn't necessarily need to move into the city to develop their careers, okay, or spend their money. Blackberries, suddenly emailing everywhere. Okay, when we had Blackberries, we said, well, great, I can now do my emails at home, on the way home. Of course, what that basically meant was that people just sent more emails around. Those scheduling in real time. Okay, work-life boundaries, cultural shifts. So basically, you don't stop work when you leave the office. Okay, online shopping. I had my eyes tested. Okay, online. So with the whole online shopping, yeah, you could buy stuff online, but people didn't realize that high street was that access information point to anything you want to travel stores, buying clothes, buying hardware. Okay, those information points where basically you could get the information and can purchase the products. Now that's all gone. Okay, you can now buy all that online. You can buy cars online. Okay, smartphones, business apps in your hand. So of course that created the app economy, more tooling at work. So basically you can now basically power those productivities in your hand. Okay, and if anything, that Generation Z use smartphones, which will replace their PC. And of course with that device now in your hand, which people take on vacation, like after 3 days at the poolside, I'm ordering stuff on Amazon and HelloFresh. So, it goes, even when you go on a vacation, you're still can't get away from the actual information and actually doing stuff, which you should be back at home, which kind of defeats the objective of information or of a vacation. Video conferencing, this to me is one of the most under talked about technology that, of course, COVID did this. Okay. But since COVID, basically, there was like a leveling up where, there was something to say, well, our project manager is based in Brooklyn. Now it doesn't matter whether they're in Brooklyn, Bulgaria, or Bangladesh. Okay, as long as they can actually work your US hours and you can relate to that worker, you can basically, you've got a remote workforce, not just across the country, but across the world. Okay, everyone's talking about AI all the time, but that rapid adoption, particularly because of COVID, basically suddenly meant that remote workforce, it doesn't really matter. Well, we're all based in New York City, where the customer is. Doesn't really matter as much more. People got more comfortable, so there was like a leveling up of that remote workforce. Of course, it also created like meetings back to back. Okay, so that was like Zoom fatigue. So of course, that was a bit of a cause and effect of what was going on. But there were consistencies in all of these new technologies. One of the consistencies were that people started having devices, work emails, personal email, work computers, personal computers, work phones, work phones, and basically home phones. It starts off with the work, and now basically at home. Same as instant messaging. We all at work, we use Teams. Okay, at home, we're using WhatsApp. Good luck in trying to organize a family vacation without a WhatsApp. You're just going to get a barrage of emails. And that's going to happen with agents, just as where you're using agents at work, so perhaps like Copilot. Okay, at home, you're going to be using, people are going to be having agents to basically coordinate activities or automate tasks. So that you've got those two worlds of technologies, which is developed over the last 30 years with the PC, the phone, internet, and now you're going to have that with agents as well. Okay. Other consistencies is that rational people in organizations do not see the value of technology to start with. Okay. So particularly like the CFO, we have done pilots with Copilot and other technologies over the years. And the CFO said, well, I don't really see the value of this. Okay. And so the technology has to be compatible with the spreadsheet. Okay. You're like, I've seen this, well, people don't need PCs. People don't need work cell phones. Okay. They should be working at their desk. Okay. Good luck in a company like that. I've been in companies where not everyone needs internet access. Okay. That's not going to work in today. And just as people are saying, well, not everyone needs to have Copilot or ChatGPT. That's not going to carry the day. Okay. For any organization. And these people slow down that pace of technology. So you really have to get these people on board. And these people are not necessarily in the IT department, but they're actually sort of like, important people that you have to get on board. Okay. And, and in some ways it's actually a bit of a threat, because if we actually get left behind, you're going to end up with workers just feeling like they're not at the leading edge. And obviously, when people in IT, everyone has big dreams and still they see the price tag. So you've got to get that return on investment identified sooner in the organization to get people actually on board. Dan, you sort of said you're working with a big food chain. You said, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're working with frontline workers here, aren't you? Are you providing solutions for frontline workers?
I work in global IT and more with like the corporate headquarters kind of folks, but not necessarily the franchise locations.
Okay, you're the head office guys. You're dealing with the head office. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. Got it. Totally on that. All right. And it's oddly enough that I find that sort of like it's an odd behavior that sometimes that people are looking at cost, don't look at the new technology, and it's always lowering the cost rather than, well, wait a minute here, we can actually get more money with the impact of technology. Okay. So this is a typical workplace, I know, 150 years ago, 125 years ago. Now, obviously, we also know with technology, that room of people here probably doesn't, would be a fraction of where it is. But people don't really realize the impact of technology. So, Dan, like in the 1930s, do you know what the first billion-dollar company was in America?
Oh, man. First billion-dollar company, I would guess the automobile. One of the automobile men.
Close, very close. I'll give you one more guess.
Electrical companies.
Okay, like GE.
Yeah.
Probably. Not quite. In fact, no, you're actually getting colder, actually.
Okay.
The first billion-dollar company was US Steel. Okay. They were the first in the 1930s. They were the first billion-dollar corporation in American history, and they had 300,000 employees. Okay. Look at these statistics. These are absolutely wild. Okay, this is today. Okay, you've got Apple. Okay, they've got a third of the employees, but they're $1 trillion. They're 100 times bigger. Okay, look at these $1 trillion companies. Okay, but they've got like a third of the workforce. So yeah, we all know that technology, you don't need 10 people doing the job, you can have 5. And yet you've got globalization and markets have actually opened up. But look at the wealth that's been generated on these by these companies. So the headcount is getting less, but the wealth is going up absolutely, completely sort of like off the scales. So it's not going to be a surprise in the near future that you're going to get $1 billion company with a headcount of 1 because of automation and agents. So let's just talk about a little bit of a trend here. I'm now seeing on org charts, you've got departments, okay, but then you're having AI agents with people. Okay, so that makes you, it does make you sort of wonder, like, well, wait a minute here. Like, instead of having 15 people in the department, you might have 2, or you might even have 1, or you might even have 0. Okay, so of course, that is going to have a rather bad problem in hiring. Okay, if you look at this, this is a job market from Indeed from 2022. Look at this, 70% drop in IT jobs hiring. But look at that, that's in 2 years. Okay, so we actually do IT recruitment at Soho Dragon. And what we're noticing is that people aren't hiring entry-level jobs. They're hiring more mid-level or senior-level jobs, which is a bit of a problem because to become a mid-level or senior job, you need to start at the entry-level job. So this is going to get a little bit challenging in the workforce in the near future. This presentation deck was done earlier this year, so this is quite, so you can see that this is now becoming a mainstream reality. Okay, 35% decrease, 8% down, 3.5 times fewer job vacancies. This is not just a US phenomenon. This is going across the UK, France, and Europe, Australia. Okay, there's a few headlines. Software engineering, 5-year low. Hiring impact. Zuckerberg claims AI will replace all mid-level developers. Okay, IBM replaced 200 HR roles, notice non-IT roles of AI agents. So this is going to be your org chart. Okay, this is that like $1 billion company with AI agents. So you can see this is going to be a little bit of a challenge in the workplace. So as virtual employees, okay, it's going to take automation to a new level. Okay, where these AI identities are going to identify their memories. They're going to have their own roles in companies on this. So it gets, and of course, they will work 24 hours and they don't take vacation. Okay, so this far exceeds, if you look at ChatGPT 5, it's very different. It's a lot, it's day and night compared to ChatGPT 3. Okay, so in that world, so you can see there's going to be many problems in training staff and hiring staff. So the big picture here, okay, is that virtual employees could be the next hotbed of innovation, where basically virtual assistants, where it's going to be AI agents, are going to be taking the place of the human being, of the human headcount. That's also going to have a changing way of how we actually compensate our employees. Typically in America, it's all about the bigger the headcount, you have your that's how much your salary is related to your headcount. But if we're cutting down on the headcount, then surely the scorecard is going to be changing, where it's going to be how many agents do you manage, how much innovation do you manage, how much output. Okay, and traditionally output was related to human input. Now it's going to be related to other input as well. Okay, so that's going to be this is going to be a new calculation that's actually going to occur. How that actually pans out, I don't know. So if you're thinking about a career growth, you start asking, how do I get more? And you might want to ask, how can I innovate more with AI? Okay, and those are the people we'll actually see. People will rise to the top of an organization when they see the AI lens through the AI lens first. Okay, and that's really how you can start scaling. Okay, so let's just take a little bit of a pause for the moment. Okay, so yeah, we can now do more with less. Okay, more wealth. Okay, fewer people. Cities are going to change. Companies, humans, hiring. There's going to be a change of behaviors. Technology is impacting us both socially and economically. Okay, and you told me it's a job problem. So obviously today you've got the small, medium-sized company. That's going to be that's old school. Like you're going to have a situation where a 50 person company can actually do what a 500, a 5,000 person company can do. So if you're one of these big sort of like Tata Infosys companies, with 10,000 employees, you might be living on borrowed time, because there's something to be said. Well, we're not like a 10,000 employee company. We're a 50 company. However, we've got agents that can scale and can compete with a 10,000 employee company. Okay, so that's where that tomorrow is going to be, that small mighty business statement. Let's just talk about the good data and good AI and moonshots. So how do you get to that moonshot in the AI world? So let me just talk about how it all goes absolutely disastrously wrong. Okay, so if you ever want to know how data can all go wrong, I suggest you look at the Amy Chang TED Talk. Okay. So I actually believe a lot of data is actually misdirected. And if you really want to know, look at this TED Talk. Okay, because what this TED Talk talks about is really how Amy describes how data actually destroyed Nokia. And Nokia had lots and lots of data points about the world's population, about spending habits, about mobile phones and everything. And Amy said, and she was from China, she sort of said that when a phone is a smartphone, all those rules go out the window. Nokia said, well, you've only got 100 data points. We've got thousands. Unfortunately, all the Nokia's data points were all wrong. Okay. And so you've got to remember that when it comes to big data, it all comes from the same place, the past. Okay. And not all data is actually the same. And it's the volume of data doesn't necessarily mean you've got accuracy of data as well. Okay. Good example of this is the Titanic. Okay. The Titanic, they had notes and they knew and maps of where the icebergs were. Okay. It just happened that the one data point, which is straight ahead, was a rather important data point. Okay. And they could, and also they didn't know how to act on it. Okay. Information that really makes no sense is a problem. Dan, have you ever driven into New York City?
I don't know if I have. I've driven a car in and around, but if I have, it's only been like once or twice. Okay.
So I actually live in Hoboken, and which is in New Jersey, just outside New York. Now, if you're driving into New York City, or you're driving in from New Jersey and you want to get to Hoboken, Hoboken's on the right-hand side. Okay. And however, you start seeing this sign and you realize, wait a minute here, my conventional wisdom says that this sign is wrong, because Hoboken's on the right-hand side, but it's saying go straight on. So of course you sort of realize what's going on, and then you realize I've just got to go straight. This sign is the case. Of course, it has. Of course, I've almost potentially caused a few multi-car pileups actually going into Hoboken, because I'm actually in the wrong lane. It's because my belief system is Hoboken's on the right, therefore I need to turn right, and that is actually not correct. So this is where information kind of like makes no sense that you're presenting. You don't know how to act on it. Good example of this, people get very emotional to data and their data points. I said Hoboken, New Jersey, which is right about here. Okay, anyone in New York, or particularly people living in Brooklyn, they don't actually understand how people in New Jersey actually get into the city. Like I think half my co-workers probably think I use a canoe or something. Okay, but the Microsoft office is right in Times Square. Okay, I can get to Hoboken to Times Square in 26 minutes. If you're in Williamsburg, okay, you can get there in 29 minutes. Okay, so it's quicker to get into the Microsoft office from New Jersey than it is from New York City. Okay, but you explain that to someone in Brooklyn or Queens, says, oh, you're not in New York City. Okay, because their reference point is the subway map. That's all their data points they're looking at. They don't understand it. If you're looking at, if there's additional data points that will actually make a decision much quicker. Okay, and therefore, and also it's a different state and everything else. So that experience and looking at data points and understanding data points is not always actually correct. Okay, flow of information, public data is not actually being taken advantage of. ChatGPT actually came out in 2019. Okay, if you were using that, not understanding how great that tool was then, if you did actually use that tool then, your business could have been in a very different state right now. Okay, could be a game changer. Hidden data, quite often, like I told you about that hidden data. Oh, I've just done it. Hidden data, but like talk about the New Jersey, New York, correctly weighing the importance of data as well. That's actually like talking about what is the important data, okay, and what's not important. And that's a difficult conversation. And that's basically, how do you do that? Is that human input? Access into information, that's buying data. So whoever's got the most money can probably make the most better decisions, using the right tooling and hiring and using the right skill sets. And then of course, filters, okay, because you've got so much data, you've got to separate the noise and the signal. Let's talk about some edge effects. Okay, just because you see trends, okay, there's always counter trends going on as well. Okay, so you look at Joe Rogan's podcasts, they're 3 hours long. TikTok videos, they're like 30 seconds long. So just because you see a trend, always look at your counter trends as well. And also these counter trends is probably where your competition is not working or not understanding it. So there is an opportunity there as well. Let's just talk about Copilot. Are you a bit of a Star Wars fan, Dan?
Yes.
So you know Ryan Gosling is in the new Star Wars movie?
I have not heard this.
Yes. So you can use Copilot to sort of say, to do a bit of creative stuff, okay? To say, well, you know, his suggestions on the new Star Wars movie featuring Ryan Gosling, you know, Galactic Maverick, Echoes of the Force, somewhat okay-ish, okay, but it's not super creative. And so this is a good example of where Copilot, just because, oh, I got it from Copilot, I got it from ChatGPT, is not always right or not always the best decision. Dan, what movie is this?
When Harry met Sally.
Really, according to Copilot, it's when Harry reached out to Sally. Okay, so it's mixing up modern day language within a movie. What movie is this?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Actually, it's Ferris Bueller's personal leave day. Okay, so it's mixing up. You know, so you've got to be a bit careful here. What movie is this?
Is this Ocean's 11? There have been so many oceans.
Oh yeah. Well, Ocean 11, 2.1 final user. You can tell a salesperson's using Copilot. Okay, so this is where Copilot is picking up on data, picking up on behavior, okay, which is actually wrong. Okay, and of course it's presenting it, and of course you're going to get some problems. So let's just talk about how to create moonshot solutions and with AI. You really got three options. You basically solve a problem better, building a better mousetrap, solve a problem that no one else knew existed, solve a problem that everyone is hard to solve. Okay, so let's just talk about the first one. So let's talk about Uber. Okay, if you know, you and I are both technical, so I know 20 years ago, if we sat down and said we're going to try and replace taxis, okay, or the whole taxi model, we would have both said, right, we need faster cars, we need more cars, and we need bigger cars. That is not the success of Uber. The success of Uber, it reduced people's anxiety, which is an emotional return on investment, which is difficult to get a CFO to sign off on because they want to look at cost reduction. This was an emotional factor, okay, where basically particularly important things like I'm going to the airport, I knew exactly when an Uber was coming, I knew how much it would cost, I knew when it was actually going to arrive as well. Okay, and particularly sort of like with a family vacation, if you screw up the taxi and you miss the flight, the entire vacation is just totally ruined because of that anxiety factor of getting that Uber and getting into the car totally reduces it. Okay, but that was the win of an Uber. It wasn't. It's not cheap, not necessarily cheaper than a taxi, but it gives you that more information. It also makes you feel quite important. You can sort of like step out onto the sidewalk and the SUV immediately turns up. Makes you feel like a rock star as well. On that, solving problems, post-it notes. Okay, post-it notes no one knew existed. That was basically a glue they found that didn't work, but it didn't leave a mark on the wall. Okay, and that was like a light bulb moment. This is another good example when you got problems where you think where no one else is thinking.
Seven in 10 Brits have been targeted by scammers. And it's not just our grandparents. I was one of them. But this still isn't about getting scammed. This is about getting even. Meet my friend, Daisy.
Hello, scammers. I'm your worst nightmare. I'm an AI created by O2 to waste phone scammers' time. So, W then a dot.
3 times W and then dot.
I think your profession is bothering people, right?
I'm just trying to have a little chat.
It's nearly been an hour! For the love
Gosh, how time flies. It's showing me a picture of my cat, Fluffy.
It's showing you the picture of your cat, Fluffy. Stop calling me gay, you stupid.
Got it, dear. Because while they're busy talking to me, they can't be scamming you. And let's face it, dear, I've got all the time in the world.
So whilst you're out enjoying life, Daisy and O2 are here fighting scammers, taking calls and wasting hundreds and hundreds of hours of scammers' time. If you want to help Daisy and O2 ruin a scammer's day, you can report scam numbers to 7726. Because you can't do it all on your own, can you, Daisy?
Who says I am, love? Speak soon, scammers.
So that's a great example of a phone company, and they're providing an additional service that is a total pain, which was solved, that, something which is a total pain. So it's not immediately obvious. Like a phone company, you want better, you want 5 bars. Here, there's an additional service that they're saying, use us, and we can actually block all your scam calls, which is becoming a problem now. Let's just talk about solving problems that people know it about, but it's hard to solve. So making things quicker and cheaper isn't always actually a win as well. Like if you get some of these travel sites like Kayak, okay, they actually deliberately delay the search results because it makes it look like that the website is working harder for you. Okay, so it's not instantaneously. So therefore, wow, it's getting more work. It's searching, it's working hard. So again, that's all that's an emotional thing where you think wow, it's working hard for you. Oddly enough, we always think we want to make things bigger, better, faster. Okay, Remarkable. Dan, have you ever used the Remarkable?
I have not used it, but I've heard about it.
So you know the Remarkable always, like basically it's an electronic, it's electronic paper, isn't it?
Right.
That's what it is. Okay, that's all it does. It doesn't integrate with Office. You can't do Intune or whatever. That's all. There's no email. There's no browsing, whatever. Okay, it's about $600, $700. Now you can get a Surface laptop for a couple of $100, which does email, internet, note taking, and everything. But the Remarkable does one thing. Okay, and it's super expensive, and it sells millions and millions and millions. Okay, so therefore, just by adding more features doesn't actually increase the demand. So there's a perception that if it does, this makes economists go nuts. Okay, where you increase the price, you reduce the functionality, yet demand demand actually for the product goes higher, and that's just a perception factor. Like a Swiss Army knife has many blades, but none of them are particularly great. Okay, so just by bringing in products with more functionality doesn't actually increase the demand of the actual product. In many ways, it could actually dilute the demand of it. Other things like just because there's no data does not mean there's no market for it. If you look at Dyson is $1 billion company, $1 billion industry. It sells vacuum cleaners for $800. There was when they were looking at vacuum cleaners, there was no market evidence to say, oh yeah, there's a desire to buy $800 vacuum cleaners. Okay, and another thing I would say is that there's no conventional wisdom, because I would have thought anyone can afford an $800 vacuum cleaner can probably afford cleaners to clean their house. Okay, so just because there's no data does not, which obviously means there's no eye, does not mean there's actually there's no market on this. So that's that creating that value and that perceived value. So you can actually have perceived value, which are not actually, should we say, necessarily adds any value. A good example of this, myself and my wife, we were looking at buying a car, and we noticed the Audi part. If you open up an Audi door, it shows the Audi logo on the bottom. Okay, this was the talking point of how we almost bought this car. Okay, so you would think if you spoke to market research, you would think, okay, I want a car reliable, I want it affordable, I want it economic. Okay, the spotlights on the bottom or on the door when you open, okay, adds no value to the driving experience. In fact, you can't even see this when you're driving the car. But this was actually the bit, the functionality which we talked about the most when we actually got the car. This makes no sense. So you can actually, these are called like what's known as surprise and delight features. So you can have features on a solution which don't make sense, but actually creates demand and the desire to buy that product. So let's just wrap this up then. I've talked about the technology over the years, the impact on the workplace, job market, where it all goes wrong, AI moonshot ideas. Okay, so all companies are technology companies, and these companies are sort of like can scale. Will be data companies. But a final point I would say is that one thing, if you ever come around my house at night and you see me watching TV, I'm normally watching like the History Channel of like Nazi megastructures, okay, or the National Geographic Channel. And I was watching the National Geographic, and I noticed bees do this thing called a waggle dance, okay, and this is a bit weird actually because 20% of the bees in a hive, they actually don't do anything productive. Okay, they just go off at random and do their own thing. And you also, I think, well, wait a minute here. Like, why isn't the queen bee disciplining these bees, which are not producing anything? And why isn't the bee governance police sort of like disciplining this? Okay, because bees have been around for a million years. And the thing is, though, you've got to remember is that why do I tolerate that level of inefficiency? But without these random bees, the hive will be trapped, okay, on existing nectar supply that would starve to death. They will be too reliant on a single source of nectar. They'll have no capacity for adaptation and discover nothing new, and they cannot get lucky. So rejection isn't a failure; it's actually a verdict. It's data, and it should be used. We've seen pilots where people are saying we did 10 pilots in a company on Copilot, and only 2 of them worked. Okay, that's actually something you should look at. Why did the 8 not work? Okay, that is something that should be actually looked at. And I sometimes feel like, if a CFO was like in a bee colony, okay, bees wouldn't exist. It's because it wouldn't tolerate this level of inefficiency. Okay, and often IT, there's always like, well, we have to have proof of concepts. Okay, and we need to show return on investment, and it has to be 100% successful. That can't happen, and that's not what innovation is. You need to accept failure. You need to understand that it's going to be rejection, and you actually need to learn from it. So with that, ride the wave. This is my beat reading list. And that's that for my presentation. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, Dan. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Great examples. Loved the keynote feel to this. It was great. I put in the ticker on the bottom of the screen the address for BC Boys Square and Trapezzino, which is right around the corner.
Oh my God, that's been worth my trip. That's been worth this already.
As I saw the BC Boys background, I was like, I should find out if you know about this because you're in the area, right? It's maybe 3 miles from the Microsoft office. I walked there just to enjoy seeing New York in a different way. And, you could take an Uber or a Lyft or however you want to get there. It's definitely worth checking out. Trapezzino has a couple, there's a couple of vegetarian, vegan option. Well, maybe not vegan because it's like a bread, but it's a trapezoid shaped bread that somebody invented in Rome. Right. And when I was in Rome, I was like, oh, are these in the United States? And they said, there's only one. It's in New York City. I thought, well, I'm putting that on the list.
Okay, then.
Excellent.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I'd love to come on.
Thanks for stopping by.
No
this
problem.
Was great.
All right.
Nikasan, did you have kind of the wrap up from yours here? I'm going to take your screen down here, Peter.
All right. Thank you so much. That was awesome, Peter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice presentation. All right. So let's wrap things up. I was able to troubleshoot the issue.
Perfect.
Yeah. So let's get it done. All right. So I might just want to use the entire screen and then.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So confirm you can still hear me.
I can hear you, and
all right. So yes, I was able to find out that this was the culprit. I just had to rewrite this, so it was a connection issue. All right? So after the condition, we already did this. Let me just put it in edit mode. So we kind of flow what I just said. So I was able to check that out. Okay, all right. So the challenge was at the condition I used. It wasn't connected to my SharePoint, so I was able to reconnect that. So cool. I'm sure we already saw this update item after the condition. So we went, if it is yes, it will update. The update will be just the field for approve. It will be approve, right? Because it's yes. So we use approve. If it is, so you select approve. All right, so that's for that. If it is, all right, so if it is no, you update it. You update your status to be rejected. You can see my screen. Let me increase this so you don't have to strain. Is it better now? All right, so we put it as rejected. All right, we have pending approved, so keep it as rejected, and then we get back on that. So once we are done with this, we have to inform the employee who applied for this leave. So we go ahead and fill in this instruction: employee email, leave request approved for the yes, and then that's just it. And that's for that. I already showed this. Similarly, for this employee leave request rejected, that's the headline. That's the first thing they'll see. Kindly be notified that your request starting from this has been rejected. See your line manager for detailed explanation. And that is it. So you go ahead and save it. That should save. If there's an issue, it won't save. All right. All right. So we can go ahead and test our flow. So I'll just click on test, manual. So I will pull this up so we can scan this. Danny, do you mind scanning this and just fill just a few questions? You don't have to be detailed question. Anyone can just fill this and let's see what we have. Yep. So who wanna try? Peter, you wanna try?
I'm trying to scan it. I'm trying to scan it right now.
Okay. Let me increase so you guys can see.
Yeah, let's see if we can scan it here. And if I can grab the code, I'll put it in the chat here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you put the copy link in the Premiere chat? Thanks.
Okay. Let me do that.
And I'll put this out.
Okay, I think that's better. I'll drop the chat. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll put this out on Frank's channel too. Okay, it's out on Frank's channel. Go ahead and fill it out.
So let's see if someone.
I just submitted my response. I think.
Okay. That should. Yeah. Let's see what happens. All right. I'm sure you can see that, but there is this pop up on my. So it will come as an email. All right. Yeah. I think there were 2 people that just submitted now. Awesome. So I'm just gonna. Yeah. I'm just going to pull my email. I'm just pull this here. You guys can see. You can see leave. All right. So let me know when you receive an email. I'm going to approve that from my end. All right. I'm going to approve this from my end. So you can approve it from. Do you mind I show you guys how to approve it? Yes. Let me just quickly show you that. So. How I did the approval. I think that's important so you know how it's done. I'm going to just go ahead and show you this. All right. So here is for the email approval. So I have this request 231. So let's see.
I think I just lost your screen. Here, let me put it back up. Sorry. There we go.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, it's back up.
Okay. So we have this first, let's just see, from requested by this October 25th. Okay, Gabriel. All right. So I'm just going to say, let's just say reject. And then it depends. If you want to give a comment, that's fine. Just say, see me. I'll submit that. So do let me know if you receive a feedback. Whoever sent that. All right. Let's just say approve. Submit that. So I keep on doing the approval, and that is very easy for me. I'll just be approving, rejecting randomly. So it just,
here you go.
Yeah, something I want to do. Yeah. All right. So that has been done. So someone let me know if they receive email, a feedback email. You should receive an email, a follow-up email of what has happened. All right.
Yep. I got approved.
You got approved? An email from your end? Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So all the ones that got rejected, can you drop in the comments? I'm sorry. Don't take it personal. All right. So
share my screen real quick so you can see the
all right, sure.
Stuff from my end. There's the approval.
Okay, yeah. Hello, Danre. Kindly be notified that your leave request starting from this has been approved. Awesome. Yeah, do enjoy your leave. All right, guys. So that's pretty much what I have for today.
Excellent.
Any question? Yeah, thank you.
There's a question in the chat. Just a bit curious about the status pending. Is it required?
Well, it's not really compulsory, but it's good to have it there so the manager knows it's pending, just in case another manager has already approved it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so. And
someone said I did.
Gabriel said he didn't get the email. Didn't include his email.
Oh, that's
so you're not going to get an email back. And that's a good point. You didn't do any validation of the email. So if I misspelled my email, I wouldn't get an email back from that flow. But there's some interesting pieces there that, like, and getting Power Automate working is part of the goal, right? You get it working and then you can decide to improve it or add things over time. It was a great demo.
Yeah, and like recommendation, sometimes maybe in the future I can add the next maybe action could be to implement or update the calendar, right?
Yeah.
So that whoever is in the company knows this person is on leave whenever there's a meeting. So that date is clocked out for that person. So you can't engage that person for that period of time they're out for leave. Yeah. Yes, you can use it on your phone. Yeah, you can use it on your phone. Use it on your phone, but not if you want to create it, you have to use a PC to create it. But you can implement the usage on your phone. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. The QR code would be something you'd scan from your phone.
Yeah, phone. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Two great presentations. And Karthik, I think we've got you as our third presenter today.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Let me share the screen. One moment.
Sure. Okay. There we go.
I'm sorry, I don't know. How do I?
You should. Did you share your entire screen, or did you
Yes.
share your?
I
Yeah.
have
So if you share,
I don't know how to share the other ones. One moment.
when you go to share, there should be entire screen, and then it should show your two monitors. And you just choose the monitor that doesn't have StreamYard open on it.
One moment, sorry.
No problem. The first time you use this, it's a little confusing, and then once you get it shared, I can promote it so it's on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Now I think I got a hang of it. Well,
Yep.
it's funny
This
that
is-
I'm going to speak about technology, and I find it harder to do it myself.
This is different technology.
Yes,
If you haven't used StreamYard, there's all sorts of cool things. You can move video around. So I can move you up to the top of the left-hand side just by dragging and dropping. I don't think that's a Teams feature yet, but it's not working for me.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yep, your screen's up.
Perfect. So first of all, let me introduce myself. So I am Karthik Kandakumar. I am currently working as an advanced analytics lead with the Target. I have close to 12 years of experience in analytics, spanning across retail and tech, driving impact through data science and end-to-end analytics. So with that, today I would like to walk you through how predictive intelligence and real-time dashboards can reshape enterprise operations. We will explore the shift from reactive to predictive and how data, AI, and system design converge to drive real-time decisions. Let's start by understanding the current reality, operational reality in most enterprises. So, modern operations are incredibly complex given the global supply chain, customer expectations, and constant volatility. Traditional reactive models often respond after disruptions, which is a tad too late. The challenge isn't speed of reaction, but its ability to predict and prepare before things break. We face real-time visibility gaps, fragmented data sources, and cognitive overload from too many disconnected tools. So when operation stays reactive, the cost escalates quickly. Let's take a look at the impact. The cost of reactive operations. Reactive operations keep organization constantly one step behind, creating chain reaction of delay and inefficiencies. Average delay, cost multipliers, and manual effort are some of the metrics that can give some insight into the hidden toll of being reactive. Every minute we spend on diagnosing something after it has occurred means a lost opportunity or higher operation costs. So moving to predictive from reactive is not just for efficiency. We can say that it's a complete redefinition of how enterprise competes in today's world. So how do we shift from reacting to predicting? So that's where the predictive intelligence paradigm comes in. So the predictive intelligence flips a model. It lets us surface the insights before the disruption occurs. It starts with continuous data ingestion, flows seamlessly into intelligent analysis, and finally gives us a proactive response. So machine learning models can detect anomalies, generate contextual alerts, and guide our team members on how to act before things escalate. So this framework is not just theoretical. This framework can now be implemented and is now implemented across many enterprises. And to operationalize this prediction, we need a command center maybe like a real-time dashboard. So predictive dashboards are the mission control hub of operations. They combine live data streams, predictive signals, and context-aware priorities to drive real-time decisions. Key capabilities includes anomaly detection, root cause analysis, customizable view, and mobile access that can empower our teams anywhere. So it is not just a kind of a glorified visualization. It's a decision intelligence in real time. So let's take a peek under the hood on what makes this architecture successful. Predictive intelligence is built on 3 layers: data ingestion layer, analytical engine, and integration framework. Data ingestion layer ensures reliable real-time data is available from some of the most important systems in the organization, like ERP systems, IoT, or our external systems. Analytical engine runs the forecasting models, anomaly detection algorithms, and pattern recognition systems. And finally, integration framework integrates these predictions into enterprise workflows. Together, these create a balance between real-time performance and analytical depth. So now that the data is flowing, how do we make a sense of it? That's where machine learning powers the predictions. So machine learning transforms past patterns into future insights. Forecasting model can predict demand and capacity. Anomaly detection can identify irregularities before they spread. Optimization engines recommend actions that can help us to reroute our resources or adjust inventories. But more than this, the real success lies in continuous learning, feedback loops that can make the models smarter over time. Of course, these insights are valuable only when they are accessible. Mostly, most of the ML projects get scraped because it exists in a data scientist or a data analyst laptop. Integration brings intelligence to where work happens. So, predictive system, like I said, can deliver value only when it is integrated with the enterprise applications. So this happy picture shows how API discovery, data mapping, workflow integration, and feedback capture all connect the ecosystem. And integration ensures predictive insights flow seamlessly into daily operations, not as a dashboard which is being used by only very few, or more of a scary dashboard, but instead a part of everyday decision flows. And feedback capture closes the loop, helping models learn from the actions done and the actions missed. So how do we implement such a scalable architecture without boiling the ocean? Let's look at the implementation blueprint. Start small and scale smart. That's the mantra. Start by identifying a high impact use case which has high visibility, which has executive sponsorship, and that has clear metrics. Followed by build a minimum viable system and roll a pilot across power users, and then scale once the value is proven. Finally, and most importantly, continuous optimization through feedback and retraining the model is what makes the system relevant. So once implemented, we saw the benefit is more about efficiency, but the benefit extends far beyond the efficiency. They shape enterprise strategy itself. What's that? Let's see here. Predictive intelligence reduces disruption and cost, but the strategic impact is far higher in the form of enhanced agility, means responding to market changes far ahead of the competitors. Greater resilience keeps operation running when others stall, and sustainable growth comes from scaling without complexity. All these lead to a mindset of an innovation culture that can free our teams from firefighting issues and think more on the lines of strategy and continuous improvement. So with this, let's wrap up by looking what your next steps could be on this journey to predictive operations. Start by assessing the current state, our data infrastructure, operation pain points, and readiness. Define success metrics that tie the predictive insights directly to the business outcome. Secure executive sponsorship so that we can sustain the momentum and funding. And finally, launch pilot faster so that you can demonstrate the ability quickly, and then you can scale from there. So the transition from reactive to predictive is not just a question of a technical skill set. It's a cultural one. And with that, let's summarize and close. So thank you so much for your time and attention. I hope this session inspires you to start your own journey towards building a predictive, resilient enterprise. Thank you so much.
That was great. Awesome presentation. Liked the slides a lot.
Yeah, good. Very clear.
Karthik, where are you located? Where's home, or where's work?
Questions, comments, feedback, I would really appreciate it.
Can you hear me okay?
Oh my God, I'm not able to hear you, Dan.
Oh, hold on.
Should I rejoin?
No, I think it's on my end. Let me figure
One moment,
this out.
I can rejoin.
I think it's on my end, not your end. Hopefully my mic is working. Let's see.
I can hear you perfectly, Dan.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Awesome presentation. Actually, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Peter Ward, that was very insightful. I actually learned a lot from what you presented. Actually, when you talked about how that Copilot makes mistakes about how you search for the movie, yeah, actually, a friend of mine a few days ago actually pointed that to me about how that he was researching something and it was an error from AI. So I think we need to make sure that we cross-check whatever information we receive to make sure that we don't produce error trying to present. So that was really, really insightful. Thank you very much. Sikan, amazing presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Karthik, where are you located? Hopefully you can hear us okay.
Yes. And before I start, did you hear my presentation?
Yeah.
Was I just
we were able to hear it fine.
Okay. Yeah, I'm located in Minnesota.
Oh, cool. I'm in the Chicago suburbs, and I have family up in Minneapolis area.
Oh, that's nice.
So I'll let you know next time we're up there.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Thanks for the great PowerPoint and presentation and thoughts around, moving from more predictive than, I guess, historical type analytics, that type of thing. That was great.
So, Karthik, can you hear me? Kuma, right?
Thank you so much, Dan.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Kuma, you didn't give us tools that we use that can use in organizations to actually put this to practice. I don't know if there were tools that you listed out that we can actually use to put this to practice.
So, for example, Target uses more homegrown tools, and I think it depends on the organization that you work for, and the tech stack differs, but this is more about mindset or the culture shift from being reactive to being predictive. So it depends. I know there are several factors like the data infrastructure, your current pain points, as well as where do you want to be decides how you do the journey. So it is not about one common tech stack that we can use for migrating from the current historical data to a predictive mindset.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that might be one we could feed into Microsoft Copilot and see what it recommends. And hopefully it won't be the incorrect, titles of movies, right, Peter?
Perhaps, yes. Yeah, but this I saw it on ChatGPT. I saw it in Copilot. That does not mean it's a bit like this is old wine in a new bottle. I saw it online. That does not. Where did you get that online?
Excellent. Well, we're coming up to 2 hours for the Azure and AI show. We meet every week. Typically, it's at 1 p.m. Central Time in the U.S., in the United States. And evening time, whether you're in Africa or Europe or anywhere in that kind of, I guess, stretch of the world or time zones in the world. And then for some of our events, we have moved the time. I know Frank was telling us last week that he is moving one of the shows either up or back a little bit to accommodate a Microsoft certified trainer who leads the Microsoft certified trainer community. Sarah Kong has been somebody that we met in person in Manchester, England. And she has a standing conflict at this time on Saturdays. So Frank is going to move at least one show to see if we can get Sarah to join us. And Frank also has a newsletter and a company page for the Azure and AI show. So if this time doesn't work for you and you're watching the replays, wishing that you could contribute, reach out to either Frank or myself, or there's several others that have been involved with the Azure and AI show, either as hosts or frequent guests. And thank you all for participating and presenting. These were some great presentations. We saw, I'm gonna try to pronounce it correctly here. Nikasan. No, I'm getting the Nick at the beginning. It's
Nikan, yeah.
Nisakan. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
And I need the Nisakan as opposed to the NIC or NIK. Excellent.
Yeah,
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I enjoyed
IB,
my day.
thanks for being here. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dan.
It's been fun. We've got folks from all over the world. This is great. And I'm going to take a quick screenshot here that I'll send y'all. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end the show for today. There we go. We'll get our fourth participant. Thanks for joining, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here. And join us next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan.